Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Olajide Bello. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Now let's start from the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has passed the 2025 appropriation bill of 54,990 billion naira. This followed the consideration of the report of the House Committee on Appropriation presented by its chairman Abubakar at the Committee on Supply, which was presided over by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. The budget passed by the House, 23.9 trillion naira is for capital expenditure, while 13 trillion naira is for recurrent non-debt expenditure. 3.6 trillion naira is earmarked for statutory transfers, while 14.3 trillion is for debt service. The 2025 appropriation bill is passed with more than 700 billion naira increase in the budget size submitted by President Tinubu. This brings the estimate to 54.9 trillion naira from an initial 54.2 trillion naira. And away from the National Assembly, in advancing artificial intelligence and digital transformation in Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended Google Chief Executive Officer Sundar Pichai. President Tinubu met the Google team in Paris on Wednesday in company of Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani. Google team engaged in constructive discussions with President Tinubu aimed at forging a strategic partnership to enhance Nigeria's journey towards artificial intelligence, AI and digital transformation. The collaboration seeks to position Nigeria as a prominent technology innovation hub, leveraging AI, cloud computing and digital infrastructure to foster economic growth and enhance global competitiveness. The conversations focus on key initiatives such as expanding digital infrastructure in Nigeria, equipping the workforce with essential digital skills for the future, promoting AI-driven research and innovation, encouraging greater cloud adoption across various industries, and establishing Nigeria as a key player in the global digital economy. President Tinubu emphasized that this partnership aligns seamlessly with his administration's renewed hope agenda centered on economic diversification through industrialization, technology and innovation. Google CEO Sundar Pichai reaffirmed the company's commitment to supporting Nigeria's digital transformation, stating, "Nigeria has an incredible opportunity to lead in AI and digital innovation in Africa." Google is excited to continue working with the Nigerian government to create an ecosystem that fosters innovation and economic growth. And away from AI, as the world commemorates Radio Day, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has urged all radio stations in Nigeria to use their platforms to create awareness about climate change and its impact on the country. Through informative and educational programs, the minister believes radio, like other critical media, can equip communities with the knowledge and tools to adapt to the changing climate and mitigate its effects. He urged radio stations to collaborate with organizations and experts in the field of climate change to provide accurate and reliable information to listeners through interviews with scientists, environmentalists and policymakers to enhance understanding of the issue and work towards finding sustainable solutions in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. As Nigeria joins the world to celebrate the role of radio in fighting climate change, the minister says it is also important for citizens to remember that effects of climate change issues are beyond borders and are felt globally. He therefore appealed to Nigerians to join hands with other nations to find solutions and create a better future for the generations to come. Radio in the last 100 years has had its impact as a medium for disseminating information, educating and entertaining the public, particularly in some hard-to-reach communities. In Nigeria, it has been used to uphold national unity, social cohesion and the development of its people. But how is it promoting climate change awareness with this year's celebration focusing on radio and climate change? Charles Alpha reports.
Broadcasting in Nigeria dates back to the colonial era, when the British introduced the radio as a medium of communication in the early 1930s.
Lagos 107.5 FM.
Today, there are about 98 radio stations in Nigeria. That is aside the online radio, according to the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, NBC.
The question is, how is it contributing to climate change awareness, creation, and solution?
There is need for this climate change awareness to reach the grassroots, but I don't think it's been used enough.
Even the private home radios may not prioritize climate change conversations because it needs to be paid for.
The interest for the government should focus more on how they can drive community, communication.
13th of February every year has been designated as the official day of the World Radio Day by the United Nations. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Meanwhile, radio, which is unarguably the most ubiquitous medium of communication, has over the years become one of the most reliable medium of communications, especially for mass mobilization and socialization, with the theme of this year's World Radio Day focusing on radio and climate change. The owners of changing the unwanted narrative of environmental degradation will now form part of a focus of media experts. Joel Pukwola has the report.
13th of February every year is set aside to commemorate the World Radio Day, celebrating the milestone feat of what has become one of the oldest mass media and means of communication, with its presence and reach spreading across both rural and urban centers in the country. With the theme of this year hinged on radio and climate change, it is a clarion call for both conventional and new media to place premium on educating Nigerians on the consequences of climate change and how to mitigate the impact.
Radio is a veritable tool to disseminate information about climate change.
It's very significant that the theme should be on climate change. As the United Nations have emphasized over and over again now, climate change is the biggest issue humanity has ever faced, because the damage that we have caused to the environment is now making nature to fight back.
Experts unanimously agreed that all stakeholders in the media are expected to rekindle their commitments to raising awareness about climate change. In Lagos, Joel Pukwola, NTA News.
Now let's join Larry Gbele for more on World Radio Day. Larry, how do experts intend to change the narrative of environmental degradation through the use of radio?
Ujide, I'm here at the Radio Nigeria premises, and I was talking with the senior colleague, and while we were talking before I came on here, we talked a lot about the importance of radio in disseminating information in Nigeria. And over the years, with the advent of smartphones, podcasts, there's been a challenge, a little bit of a challenge for radio. But we discovered during our conversation that radio is still important, especially at the grassroots. Now, how can radio help in disaster risk reductions management strategies? How can radio disseminate information to the people at the grassroots? Because the people at the grassroots have access to radio. Radio is portable, radio is accessible. With your batteries, you are here, you are there, you are listening to information. And now with the advent of rechargeable batteries, rechargeable radios, you are there at the grassroots. So how can this information get to the grassroots? Using the radio. And they can teach them through jingles, radio dramas on what to do, what kind of chemicals to use, what kind of chemicals are inimical, dangerous to the environment, what kind of mulching, what kind of ridging they should do in some areas. What are the things that they should do, the lifestyles at the riverine areas that can be a danger to the ecosystem of the aquatic splendor of that area. What are the things that the people at the grassroots consider normal that is dangerous to the environment. Let's take bush burning, for example. Before the planting season, some farmers engage in bush burning. And environmentalists have found out that this is also dangerous to the environment. So this can be used. Radio, can be used to disseminate this information to them. And what kind of refrigeration they are using for the farmers that are into livestock, that are bringing, meat, mutton, beef, chickens to the urban centers. There's what we call HFC, hydrofluorocarbon emissions, that are in the fridges, that Nigeria is a signatory to, that we should stop using it in some fridges. What are they aware that they shouldn't use these fridges? And so on and so forth. There's a lot to talk about. And environmentalists are saying, with the nature of climate change that has become a real and present danger, it is important to use radio. And today being World Radio Day, we are emphasizing it, my colleagues are emphasizing it, that yes, radio has a major role to play in educating, enlightening the people, not only at the grassroots, but at the urban centers.
All right. Many thanks, Lanre. I know you have loads and loads of information. And in fact, you're actually talking as a resource person now. That's the way you sounded. Many thanks for your inputs nationwide. And away from World Radio Day, 30 years after the 1995 Beijing Platform for Action flagged 12 key areas where urgent actions are needed to be taken to promote women's rights and empowerment. The issues are set to receive fresh attention as the OFLAD holds its 29th Ordinary General Assembly on the sideline of the 38th AU Summit in Addis Ababa. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu is billed to join her counterpart at the session. Let us now join State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo in Addis Ababa to bring us insights on the focus of the General Assembly. Adeni, it's over to you.
Thank you, studio, and welcome to Addis Ababa. This is where African First Ladies, under the auspices of Organization of African First Ladies for Development, or FLAD, will be converging for the 29th Ordinary General Assembly of that organization. The Assembly has as its theme, building on Beijing, African First Ladies championing women's leadership and rights through African heritage. Of course, this will be taking place on the margins of the 38th AU Summit Ordinary Session. Now, for the First Ladies, it is back to Beijing 1995. At least the issues addressed by that, conference, where women's issues, gender-based violence, women's equality, gender equality, and all were addressed. Talking about 12 issues, that were flagged at that Beijing conference. Now, those issues will be getting a fresh look here in Addis Ababa at this General Assembly. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, of course, is on ground, to join our sister First Ladies to participate at the General Assembly. And our participation, of course, will provide opportunity for her to present Nigeria's position on some of the advocacy initiatives of OAFLAD, and going beyond that, it will also offer her the opportunity to present how much she has been able to achieve along, those advocacy initiatives. Of course, top on that is the We Are Equal campaign launched by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on May 13 last year in Nigeria. Flowing from that, launch, we've seen the establishment of alternative high school for girls in Osogbo, Osun State, in Bauchi, and others planned to give women, those who dropped out of school, another chance at getting functional education. Another one that is already launched and expected to gain traction in Nigeria, of course, is the Free to Shine campaign launched in Kwara State, North Central Nigeria, and that is targeting women of reproductive age, youth, children, to stem the spread of HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, syphilis, particularly through vertical transmission, that is mother to child. So all that will be getting the attention of the General Assembly, and we, of course, we expect Nigeria to come with robust engagement during the events lined up till February 16 when the General Assembly will be ending. So it's back to you now.
All right, many thanks, Adeni Taiwo and Addis Ababa, keeping us up to speed from that zone there. Now, over now to Hengino in Lagos for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon, Hengino. Take it up from here.
Thank you, Jide, and welcome to Lagos. It has been 49 years since his assassination in an attempted coup, February 13, 1976. Yet, the legacy of General Murtala Ramat Mohammed still resonates. His reign was marked by economic prosperity, which many say impacted the quality of life of Nigerians. As the history books again open on the late military head of state, Ime Udori, in this report takes a look at the life and times of General Murtala Mohammed and what he stood for. Her report is here presented.
Before his assassination on February 13, 1976, led by one of his cabinet members, Lieutenant Colonel Buka Suwadimka, late General Murtala Mohammed was the fourth military head of state.
Order to give the nation.
He led the 1966 Nigerian counter-coup in overthrowing the military regime of Johnson Agui Ironsi and prominently featured in the Nigerian Civil War. He thereafter ruled from July 29, 1975 and was described as a selfless leader.
We are talking of one leader who came to bring discipline, one leader who came to bring good governance, one leader who came to see that Nigerians can be reckoned in the community of nations.
Indigenization decree too was promulgated during that Murtala Obasanjo regime, where certain foreign companies were nationalized.
He was trying to put Nigeria right on the correct path to economic freedom.
Today, at the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, Unicon in Lagos, is this Mercedes-Benz car in which the late head of state was assassinated. It still reminds Nigerians of his short-term leadership. Every detail on it is still intact and visible. Impact from the gunshots, the flags, and the original tires from the event of the 13th February 1976 is also preserved.
Technologies we have now, we don't have them then because there was no bulletproof. The driver, the security officer, that is the orderly, and then his secretary, including himself, but we lost 3 of them.
Late General Murtala Mohammed portrait is on the 20 naira note, while the nation's international airport in Lagos is named after him. To honor him also, a cenotaph has been constructed at the spot where he was assassinated beside the old Federal Secretariat in Ikoyi, known as Murtala Mohammed Drive.
Now turning our attention to education, Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa has promised the federal government's resolve to ensuring standards and the right quality of education is maintained in schools across the country. The minister said this while on a fact-finding mission to King's College, Lagos. Ime Udori's report is again presented from our studio.
The visit is part of federal government's intervention initiative to restructuring unity schools across the country and restoring the standards and quality of education that it was known for. On arrival, the minister was received by some teaching staff of the college, then thereafter taken round the premises to observe things firsthand. The students who were surprised by the early hour visit welcomed the minister and his entourage with happiness. The minister began with the hostels where he interacted with some of the students who were all still preparing for classes. The team also toured the classrooms, science laboratories, cafeteria, among other facilities, where he expressed displeasure over the deteriorating state of facilities for lack of maintenance.
This place is dark. How do you expect students to learn?
Major among the challenges the college is grappling with is the issue of electricity supply, which the minister Tunji Alausa quickly intervened.
I'm not happy at all with what I saw, but we will work as a government to quickly remedy a lot of the problems. We've actually started. They have not had light, regular light, in almost 7 months. That problem has been solved. The problem of cleanliness, I've spoken to the principal. This is not acceptable. They need to put a crew to maintain that this campus, to ensure and work around the clock to ensure cleanliness of the campus.
Principal of the college, who is barely a month old in the school, appealed to government for prompt intervention of returning the college to its former glory.
We would like the ministry to come to assist us in teachers, in sending more teachers here. We have dearth of teachers in some subjects. Also, the facilities we are having, though the PTA is trying, in fact, they are picking up one of the hostels to renovate.
It will be recalled that the minister embarked on a similar visit to Queen's College in Lagos in December 2024.
Those are the stories from Lagos. Nationwide continues in Benin after the break.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their socio-economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary health care center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030.
Let's talk about illegal mining operations. What is our strategy? Welcome to Benin. Retired veteran journalist and ace news presenter of the Nigerian Television Authority, Phil Obano, has passed on in a ghastly auto crash. And Willie Okolo, who has some highlights of her life and times, reports that the funeral service is ongoing at St. Joseph's Catholic Church, Benin City, as at the time of this report.
In November 2024, Phil Agarse Obano bowed out of service after 35 meritorious years as a Nigerian Television Authority. The NTA Benin family has been left in grief as their one-time zonal director was an impactful boss, and no one could muster up words to describe her.
I'm shocked. I don't know what to say. The only thing I can say is that may her soul rest in peace.
Once a teacher, always a teacher. Barely a week to her demise, she was at the NTA TV College, Jos, as a resource person for an information management training.
This training is to equip the participants with the wherewithal to put in place a communication system that will help the federal government get the required feedback from the people.
Though details of her death is still vague, the impact of her loss cannot be quantified. Auntie Phil, as she is fondly called, rose through the ranks in the NTA. First as a continuity announcer in the programs department, later on as an ace newscaster where she dazzled with her signature headgear. She worked in various capacities and network centers of NTA, including NTA International, NTA News 24, NTA Port Harcourt, NTA Owerri, NTA Asaba, and finally retired in NTA Benin after serving as zonal director for about 10 months. Phil Obano is survived by 2 children, a mother, and siblings. In Benin, Anwule Kolo, NTA News.
This wound is deep. Good night, my mentor. The government of Edo State will continue to collaborate with the federal government in all aspects in order to engender development to make Edo the envy of all. Governor of the state, Senator Monday Okpebholo, gave the assurance when he received the Accountant General of the Federation in Government House. Good luck, NINA reports.
The Accountant General of the Federation, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Madin, and her delegation are in Edo State for the first time since becoming the Accountant General of the Federation. Governor Okpebholo described her choice as a wise decision by the President, adding that since she assumed office, there has been significant improvements. He appreciates President Bola Tinubu for his interest in Edo State and promised to sustain the working relationship with the federal government.
I want to thank you for choosing Edo State. More especially to thank Mr. President. A lot of development is taking place. By the grace of God, they are going to take Edo to enviable position.
The Accountant General of the Federation and her team were in the state to assess the federal pay office, of which Edo was selected as the only state in the South-South zone expected to play the role of treasury management to all federal institutions.
We are here to visit these offices for the purpose of identifying their state, because they are the faces of Accountant General of the Federation Office.
She thanked the governor for his commitment in advancing the state. In Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Nationwide continues in Abuja.
Many thanks, Obehi, and welcome back to Abuja. President Bola Tinubu congratulates on his re-election as the national president of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, Bishop Wale Oke. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria re-elected him at the 18th Biennial National Conference in Abuja. President Tinubu also congratulates the Christian faithful and commends Bishop Oke for his consistent efforts in promoting religious harmony and national renaissance as demonstrated in his Nigeria Turning Point prayer moment. President Tinubu prays for the bishop's fresh appointment as he continues his leadership role in the Lord's vineyard. The Nigeria Customs Service has suspended the recently introduced 4% free on board charge to address concerns raised by industry players and ensure a balanced approach that supports both trade facilitation and revenue generation. Comptroller Kano Jigawa Area Commander Alhatu Abubakar disclosed this during a sensitization program for exporters and other stakeholders of the FOB charges in Kano. Awal Salisu has the details.
The sensitization program is to raise awareness regarding the 4% free on board FOB charge, a critical aspect of customs operations that impacts importers and other players in the supply chain.
The 4% is already captured in the NCS Act since 2023. It's only come on board recently, and it's not a new concept. It is something that has passed through the Nigerian Customs Service Act 2023.
The session accorded the stakeholders the opportunity to voice their concerns and have a better understanding of the procedures involved in paying the 4% FOB charge.
But this sensitization makes the importers to know that it's a government policy that add that money, not the agent.
Calling on the government to at least look at the situation of the country, look at the economic situation of the people, and do something about that purpose.
The sensitization engagement also highlighted the Nigerian customs' ongoing efforts to improve trade facilitation, reduce delays at the ports, and enhance stakeholders' collaboration. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
The federal government is leveraging the education sector and ongoing reforms in oil and gas as well as the mining industry to harness economic growth for long-term enlightenment and human capital development of citizens. This was disclosed during a courtesy visit of Executive Secretary of Tertiary Education Trust Fund (TETFund) to the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NTA) in Abuja. Ambassador Abel Amosu reports that this is to strengthen the partnership to improve access to credible data, enhance tax compliance, and ensure transparent revenue disclosures, as well as ensure that funds meant for development of tertiary education in Nigeria and overall national development from the extractive sector are efficiently and transparently managed.
We are moving towards an area where Nigerian citizens need to understand that managing natural resources requires knowledge, skill, and methodology. And leveraging with TETFund that has access to tertiary institutions all in Nigeria, we can partner with them in that to expand knowledge.
We are doing so many things to look at the welfare of our students. We are giving them opportunities, encouraging them. So we have startup funds for even those of them that have creative talent. When you develop anything, we'll be able to support you in school there to try and prototype it, to patent it, assist you to get your trademarks, and you can begin to earn.
The two agencies believe this collaboration would ensure prompt remittances and education tax, promote utilization of funds, and encourage data sharing and joint research. Now let's join Salamatu in Kaduna to give us more details on measures put in place by the state government to strengthen the health system in the state. Salamatu.
Lajide, and a warm welcome to Kaduna. Kaduna State Government remains committed to strengthening the healthcare sector to ensure citizens receive the medical attention they need across the state. Governor Obasani reaffirmed this commitment while commissioning a new pharma-grade warehouse in Makera. Muhammad Marajingi reports.
Built on approximately 1,600 square meters, this facility stands as one of the largest pharmaceutical warehouses in Nigeria. The brain behind this project, aimed at enhancing healthcare services in the state, is here to officially unveil it. Equipped with state-of-the-art quality control laboratories, all pharmaceutical products will undergo thorough testing here before being stored and distributed to healthcare facilities across the state.
We have a very robust healthcare system in Nigeria under the able leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We've started working extremely well, particularly focusing and investing in primary healthcare in the whole states. And of course, you can see the synergy between the Federal Ministry of Health and subnationals, which have really given back to a lot of effort we are putting, ensuring that we ensure that our people have access to healthcare both at the primary level as well as secondary and tertiary level.
With this warehouse in place, the development partner says Kaduna State has taken a bold step towards a healthier future, ensuring access to high-quality medicines for all. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Marajingi, NTA News.
Away from quality health delivery system, we move to security matters. Kaduna State Police Command has arrested 580 suspected criminals for allegedly involved in various crimes across the state, out of which 20 are suspected kidnappers. Kaduna State Commissioner of Police Muhammad Rabiu, while parading the suspect before journalists, warned criminals that the command will fish them out no matter how long it takes. Kim Gwat has the details.
Since December 31st, 2024, the Kaduna State Police Command has made significant strides in combating crime. Among the key breakthrough is the recovery of 4 AK-47 rifles, 2 pistols, 28 rounds of live ammunition, 5 magazines, and 20 bags of illicit drugs during the ongoing crackdown on criminal activities across the state.
Arrest of over 580 suspects for various offenses, including 20 suspected kidnappers, 320 suspected phone snatchers, 32 suspected armed robbers, 5 car thieves, 13 motorcycle snatchers, 10 suspects involved in rape cases, over 30 receivers of stolen goods.
Another major success recorded within this period is the rescue of 23 kidnapped victims in Kajuru local government area through intelligence-driven operations.
Police, in a swift action, trailed and arrested 3 out of the 4 suspects, namely Rabiu Abdullahi, who is the gang leader, Yao Adamu, alias Bagobiri, and Abdullah Ibrahim.
The Kaduna State Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Rabiu, urged the citizens to continue cooperating with security agencies by providing timely and credible information, as community involvement remains vital in addressing security threats everywhere in the world. In Kaduna, Kim Gortz, NTA News.
Kim Gwat's reports complete our package from Kaduna. More reports from our Port Harcourt Network Center after this time out. Please stay tuned.
The federal government of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime, punishable.
Live on Sporty TV. SportyBet sponsors coverage of the Italian Serie A.
Thank you for joining Port Harcourt. River State Governor Simnala Ifubara has promised to ensure spread of development to the Kalabari region in line with his administration's commitment to the state. He stated this when he received in audience a delegation of monarchs, political leaders, elders, women and youths of the Kalabari ethnic group led by the Amayinabo of Abonima, King Disrael Bob Manuel, at the banquet hall of Government House, Port Harcourt. Government House correspondent Osinachi Samuel reports.
The governor, who described the members of the delegation as a family, says the commitment of the state government is evident in the execution of the original plan for the Trans-Kalabari Road project, which was delayed in the past due to cost implications. He acknowledged that power belongs to God and he gives it to whoever finds favor in his sight.
The government of Rivers State will continue to stand with you. Your support for us, people would see them. We will make it visible in the quality of things that we will do in your places.
The governor further acknowledged their support, assuring them of delivery of quality projects to the people, such as the completed Emoha-Tema Junction Road and the Degema Hospital, which will be inaugurated in May, while Abonima General Hospital is set for immediate rehabilitation, promising to address the issues of shore protection in the area.
Insecurity on our waterway will be reduced because at that point we're doing road and not the river anymore. The cost of living will also be cheaper. Your development is key to us.
He also assured them of elevation of traditional schools in the area. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The Committee for Destruction of Illegally Imported Pharmaceuticals has destroyed expired and illicit imported drugs arrested at the seaport in Rivers State, worth billions of naira. The exercise was supervised by the chairman of the committee, Assistant Controller Customs, Timi Bomodi, and a representative from the Office of the National Security Advisor.
This is the River State Waste Management Agency dump site along Port Harcourt Road, Port Harcourt, where over 60 40-foot containers of illegally imported pharmaceuticals are being destroyed. The exercise is the second leg of the national assignment being executed by the Committee for Destruction of Illegally Imported Pharmaceuticals under the Office of the National Security Advisor. Assistant Comptroller General of Customs, Enforcement, Investigation and Inspections, Timi Bomodi, is the chairman of the committee.
As it is, we are executing it without fear or favor and sending a clear message to all those that are engaged in this kind of practice that they should desist, not just because it affects the health and well-being of Nigerians, but because it also affects the security of the country itself.
For the Office of the National Security Advisor, no effort will be spared in stemming the tide of illegalities across the nation's seaports.
The multi-agency approach which the NSA adopted is to show the all-of-government approach towards curbing such illegalities. Additionally, the cooperation from the Lagos State government and the people of Lagos State, as well as the Rivers State government, has indicated the all-of-society approach, which is the mantra of the federal government of Nigeria towards curbing and fighting such illegalities in the country.
Some of the products are said to have been imported with fictitious documents and were arrested by officers of the Nigerian Customs Service and other agencies involved in the joint exercise. While some culprits have been arrested, others, they said, have been prosecuted. In Port Harcourt, Marian Vincent Oko, NTA News.
And as our offering from Port Harcourt is back to Abuja for the continuation of the news. Good evening.
Many thanks, Dibabari, for your contributions. A respite comes the way of former Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Ishaq Modibo, as the Federal High Court, Abuja, dismisses 5 counts charge bordering on fraudulent conduct concerning the digital switchover policy of the federal government. Olabode Arewa reports that Justice Folashade Giwa also rules that mere suspicions by the prosecution are insufficient to convict Modibo and the co-defendants.
Ishaq Modibo, Dipo Onifade and a company, Pinnacle Communications Limited, were charged on 5 counts bordering on fraud and money laundering in the award of the digital switchover policy of the federal government. The policy was meant to subsidize access to digital television signals by Nigerians when they purchase set-top boxes. A seed grant of 2.5 billion naira allotted to Pinnacle Communications by the National Broadcasting Commission to facilitate rollout of the required equipment was the bone of contention. Presiding Judge Justice Folashade Giwa held that the prosecution failed to substantiate the claims that Modibo, Pinnacle Communications and Dipo Onifade engaged in underhand dealings concerning the seed grants. It therefore discharged and acquitted the 3 defendants of guilt.
The judgment was a well-considered one.
I was on trial for 5 years. I couldn't do any work, so I'll now pick up my life.
The late proprietor of Pinnacle Communications Limited, Lucky Omoluwa, was removed from the charge sheet upon his demise in 2020. This is done since under the Nigerian law, a deceased person cannot stand trial. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
And away from the judiciary, Governor Diko Rada of Katsina State has acknowledged the successful implementation of the state's community development program in Zango local government area of the state. The program, which provides support to those in need without bias towards political affiliations, was showcased during an empowerment program in the area. Awal Haluru has the details.
The program included distribution of agricultural inputs and business support materials to women, artisans and small business owners. Governor Ratna urged the broader adoption of the program, calling on members of the House of Representatives and the State Assembly to support and expand it. He also announced progress on local infrastructure development, including the Kawari Road project, which has been included in the State Assembly budget.
This administration has been up and doing in adding smiles and life on the electorate.
In a similar development, Governor Ratna welcomed the defection of a prominent PDP leader in Zango local government to the APC. The governor noted that the defector has always been a respected political force in Zango and Katsina state politics. With local government elections scheduled for February 15, 2025, Governor Ratna called for active participation and emphasized the importance of supporting his administration's commitment to good governance and development. Awal Halaru, NTA News.
On to security matters, troops of the Nigerian Armed Forces have rescued 46 kidnapped victims between 3rd January and 13th February 2025. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kange, announced this during the periodic Defense Media Operations News Conference in Abuja. Details of the operations that spanned through the 6 geopolitical zones indicate that 75 terrorists were eliminated, 138 suspects arrested, while 42 illegal refining sites were discovered and destroyed by troops of Operation Delta Safe in South. Similarly, several weapons were recovered while criminal camps destroyed. And also sports, let's join Brian Tebucho for the latest in the world of sports.
Sports enthusiasts have urged the Nigerian Football Federation to always enforce the rules of the game in line with best practices so as not to create room for unnecessary interference and boardroom deduction of points in the running of the leagues. This follows recent incidents involving award and reduction of points or goals from clubs deemed to have breached the rules of the game.
Right, so in as much as the NFF is responsible for football in Nigeria, it's also important to reduce the level of interference because what that gives is that it puts our league in a bad light. Oh, the NFF will have to interfere in every situation. It doesn't have to be so. There's a body responsible for the league, and every challenge or every issue that props up on a match day should be dealt with by the officials in charge of the game.
The Golden Eagles coach Garba Manu says he will continue to ensure that the best legs are selected to represent the country in the under-17 national team level for sustainable transition to senior levels. Daniel Okpai reports that he gave the assurance during a talent screening exercise held in Oka, Anambra State. In the Europa League, Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce welcomed Anderlecht to the Sukru Sarakoglu Stadium in the Europa League playoff round on Thursday evening. The Turkish Giants crept into the top 24 by the skin of their teeth on match day 8 and must improve if they are to reach the last 16. As Roma travel to take on FC Porto in the Europa League's playoff round this evening, the two teams started the season among the favourites for success in this competition, but missed out on automatic qualification to the round of 16. A two-legged playoff now awaits and begins tonight at the Estadio do Dragão. Ferencváros welcomed Victoria Plzeň to the Groupama Arena in Budapest for the first leg of the Europa League playoff tie on Thursday evening. The winners of this two-legged contest will face either Lazio or Atletico Bilbao in the last 16 next month. For Sports Update, Bright Ebochio, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.